Okay, let us start today's sessions. Before that, do you have any questions so far? So we have covered SDLC, STLC, level of testing, what is the different types of testing, how to write a test cases. So in 5 days, we have covered a lot of things. Any questions, guys, before start? So I have written some of the test case you people are, send me the test case which you had written. I reviewed. I just given a review comments as well. But you just make sure that when writing a test cases, you have to consider functionalities. What are the functionality of the particular product? Then you have to check it in the UI. Then integration as well. If suppose you are going with the lift, then there will be, if it is a 2 lift or 3 lift, there will be some integration, interrelated functionality. So you need to write a test cases for that as well. If you are, writing a test cases for any of the product which is related to the another product, right? So then you have to write a test cases with integration as well. Fine. So now let us start, learn black box testing techniques. So there will be, we are going to learn some of the techniques. We have a different types of black box testing technique is there. So most widely used techniques, we can say equivalence partition. And then we have a boundary value analysis. So I hope you could able to view my screen. So now we'll start from that equivalence partition first. So equivalent partition means like, what is that equivalent partition? First, we need to let us understand with a simple example. Suppose the test, if I am going to give a input data, I mean, it is a huge input data. Suppose I just wanted to divide the input into classes of data. So let us consider an example of password field. Maybe I need to validate password field. Password field, it accepts only the, it should accept minimum of character is minimum, it should accept 8 character, right? So while developing the product, right, password field, the developer making there some restriction over them as per the requirement. So they are saying now this password field going to accept, minimum of 8 characters should be there and maximum of 15 character, right? So minimum of 8 character and maximum of 15 character it is going to allow. If you enter, less than 8 character, like, suppose if it is a 6 character or 7 character, then it is going to throw you the error message. The same way, if you try to enter more than a 15 character, then it is also going to throw you the error. Right? How we are going to validate this thing? How we are going to write a test cases? So now if I try to write a test cases for, character 1, character 2, character 3, character 4, character, so that is not, best approach, right? So now if I am writing a test cases for verify the password field with 1 character, then I'm saying, the same way I'll be writing the same thing with the verify the password field with 2 characters. So this is not a good approach, right? This is not at all best approach. Practically, due to time and budget consideration also will be there. So if you go in this way, how many test cases will cover? So more than a test cases will going to cover, right? You have to think practically. So practically in time and budget will be coming into the picture. So it is not possible with the all the set of data. It is not possible to perform each set of test data, right? Especially when there is a large data. Maybe if it is accepting the value, maybe if it is a 1 to 100, how you are going to validate? So if you are going to validate 1 to 100, each and every number, if you entering the field and validating is not a best approach. So that is where here it is coming into the picture is equivalent partition, right? So that, this helps to reduce the number of test cases that need to be created and executed. Right? This technique, right, equivalent partition technique is going to it is going to providing you the good coverage. That means, suppose here if you take the password field. So here what they are saying, it is saying that 8 to 15 character only. So now how we are going to get the data, test data, how we are going to make a coverage over them. All the test cases we have to cover. So maybe we can think first, we have to make it as a partition. So how we are going to make it as a partition over here? So now how we are going to make a partition? First partition, you can go with the 0 to 7. Right? So 0 to 7, you need to one partition. Right? So because before that, right, 8 to 15, this is a valid one. Now this is the invalid one. For that, I'm just make it as a partition 0 to 7. Then the next one will be the 8 to 15. Right? This is the one partition. This is one partition over here. Then here 8 to 15 is a one partition. Then another partition will be 16. Right? 16 to, you can make it as a maybe 20. So now I just splitted as a 3 partition over here. So you would need only 3 test cases. So everything will going to cover. So how we are going to validate now? So now you will be writing a test case as verify the password field with how many characters? So 0 to 7. Any character you can write. 0 to 7 means maybe you can go with the 6 first time. Maybe next time if you are doing a regression, you can go with the 3 or you can go with the 6. Right? So any one value you are going to update and you are going to check. So what is this will going to? It is going to prompt you error message. Right? Because this is an invalid one. What is that valid one? 8 to 15 is a valid one. So that's what here it should accept the character 8 to 15 character only. So now it should throw error message. If I enter the 0 to 7 character, then it is going to throw you the error message. So the next test cases, I'm saying verify the password field with how many characters? Here it will be 8 to 15 character. Right? Then it is going to allow you. This is a valid scenario. Right? So this is a valid one. It is going to allow you to log into the application or sign up to the application. Right? Successfully sign up. So now this is a valid scenario. So what is the next test cases? Next test cases will be verify the password field with how many characters? What is the character? So here it will coming into the 16 to 20 character you can try. Anyone. So now in between, maybe you can add a 9, maybe you can add a 14, maybe you can add a 13. Here if you come over here, the password field with the 16 to, maybe you can add a 16, it should throw error message, right? Right, it should throw error message over here. Right, so now 16 to 20, it's not going to add. So any one number, any one character, which is that 17 character or 18 character, maybe you can try over here. So now we covered all the possibility. Right, so instead of going one by one character, if you are, maybe we may miss that. Right, so any of the test cases we may miss some of the things. So that what we have to do, we have to go with the invalid partition and valid partition and again invalid partition. So this is what equivalent partition techniques we have to use. Suppose here if it is coming into the the password field, always there will be if you are working in a sign up page, there will be password field. So as per the requirement, so suppose maybe here it is 18 to 50, maybe it will be 6 to 6 character to minimum of 6 character, maximum of 12 character, right? That is based on the requirement we need to validate. So not everything is in 18 to 15, right? So the requirement, what it is saying. So what the client, customer, it is asking that I want the password field should be 18, 8 to 15, or they are asking to 6 to 12. So we have to validate as per the recommend. Then we need to write a test case or something in this way. We have to write this is the way. So we are covering everything. Is that clear? So now let's take one more example. Okay, fine. So we are making as a partition, that is, we are going with that valid part, that this is the invalid one. It should throw error message. So maybe this one 18 to 8 to 15 only they are asking to, in the password field should accept, right? Only 18 character to 15 character only. If it is more than that, what happened? It should throw error message. So that's what we are making a coverage 18, 16 character to 20 character. So any one character, 16 or 17, 18, 19, if it is more than that, what happen? It is going to throw you the error only. It should not allow you. Password. It's a minimum of 8, maximum 15 only the field will going to accept. Other than that, it is not going to accept. So that's what, we are verifying the password field with the 16 character to 20 character we are checking. So now it should throw that error message. So that's what the last statement. Ashwin is clear? Okay, fine. So now let's go with another example, maybe. So now maybe if you are working in any college or any school application, right? So if suppose if you are working in an application of the school application, here it is going to score the exam paper and assign the grade. Suppose if the mark is the student mark is suppose 1 to 49, right? So the grade will be it should make it as a F grade, right? So if it is a 50, 52, we can make it as a 59. If it is a 59, then the grade should be maybe it's a E grade, right? It should be E grade. So the next one is if it is a 60, 60 to 69. So if the mark they are getting, the students getting the mark 1 to 49 means it will be coming into the F grade. If it is a 50 to 59, so what is that grade will be? E grade. So now 60 to 69, it will be the grade will be maybe if it is a D grade. So then we have a D grade. So then we have a 70. 72, then we have a 79 maybe. It will be it's a C grade. Then we have a 80. 82, we can say 89. 89 will be, it's a B grade. Then we have a 90 to 100. So what is that? This one is the A grade. So how do we test this problem using equivalent partition? Right, so 1 to 100, right, totally 1 to 100. So now already they have make it as a partition. First we are starting from 1 to 49. So any of the one number we are going to. We are not going to check each and every values, every number. Just we are going to test one test cases over here. So here already it is a partition is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 test cases we're going to cover. So any of you guess how many test cases will cover over here? Right, so here the first partition will coming into the 1 to 49 only. So now I'll be going to verify if the mark is 1 to 49. 5 test cases. How? Already here it's partition is 6 over here. You are saying 5 test cases. Okay, so now here we need to test one test cases for 1 to 49. Then second set of test cases, maybe we can add it as a 50 to 59. So everything is valid only. So if it is a 50 to 59, then the grade should be B. If it is 60 to 69, then the grade should be this one. And 70 to 79, any one when value we are going to validate. Then it will be grade C. Then 80 to 89 and 90 to 100, it will be A grade. So here we are covering almost 6 test cases. Right, so you are not going to add anyone. So maybe you can try to go with that 30. Right, so just to verify the test case, verify that, the mark should be, if it is a 30, then the grade should be F. Right, so you can add any number. Maybe here you can add it as you can make it as a 55. Right, here you can make it as a 62. Or here you can make it as a any one number. So maybe you can make it as a 77. Here you can make it as a 83. Here you can add any one value, maybe 19. Right, so only one conditions we are going to add. We can write a test cases. This is everything is valid one. So suppose, so we should, here we covered everything is in a valid scenarios. We should test invalid scenario as well. We should test the partition before 1. Maybe if it is a -1, or we can make it as a maybe 100 and more than 100 or 105. So you may ask the question like, how it is possible, like, the student will get it more than 100. In case we should think like, problem of software, not in a real world scenario. If now everything is, coming into the application wise. So we are testing in an application. We are not making a mark. So maybe if it is entered something like, 105, maybe if it is a minus, what will happen? So all the things we have to validate. So suppose if it is, we have to write a test cases. Maybe if it is coming correctly, that's fine. Other things also we need to check it out. No, one test case. Here only one scenario we are going to write. Here we are going to write only one test case, not for each and everything 5 test cases. Here one test case is only 1 to 49. Here 50 to 59. See, totally 1 to 100 only mark. So we are already partitioning in this way. 1 to 49, 50 to 59 in this way. So here each and everything, every partition, we are going to give only one test case. Right, all of these are valid scenarios. Now we'll write a one test cases for if it is a minus grade. Then if it is a negative marks. Suppose if it is more than 105, then also we are saying like, in this is invalid scenario. It should not coming more than 100. Right, so we have to write a scenario something like this way as well. So now how many test cases we have covered now? Here already we have written a safe. This is the valid one. Now here 2 test cases. So here totally we have 8 test cases. Right, we are not sure about, how the system is going to return you the mark. Right, the system is scoring the mark and it is going to make it as a grade. So now we need to write a scenario in this way as well. Right, this is the way we have to write a test cases for equivalent partition. Right, suppose if the, if it is coming in this way, so if the user is enter some different, maybe that like, if you are writing a question paper, right? So maybe you can write more than question as well. Maybe the optional question as well. So that what happened? The system doesn't know what we have to do. So it is going to go with maybe the 105 mark. Something they have written, so it is coming into the negative mark. So if it is coming into the minus point, so that is also we have to consider. That is the reason we have to add different scenarios as well. Always we have to go with as per the requirement. That is a valid scenario, and we have to analyze and we need to write a test cases for invalid, data as well. right? So if suppose you are not writing a test case or something, after executing the code, after deploying the code, maybe some of the people entering the different data, so the system is crashed. What will happen? Right? So that's the reason we must test all the scenarios, all the conditions. So we have to go in this way as well. So that's why we have a now 8 test cases we are going to write. Right. So if you are writing in this way, we have achieved 100% equivalent partition. Right. These 6 partitions in the middle are called valid partition. This one is valid partition. So now this is the invalid partition. Is that clear? So if you feel like, more data, then you can simply take, suppose if you are working in any of the voter list. So if you are taking a voter list, right? So what is the age criteria for the voting? Age criteria for voting, anyone knows?
18.
Yeah, great. So now 18. If it is 18, you are you are allowed to voting, right? Otherwise, you are not going to allow. How the system is going to check now? So age, if it is less than 18, right? Less than 18 means what will happen? It is going to throw you the not allow, right? It is not allowing to voting. If it is 18, right? So maybe you can say 18. If suppose age is greater than 18, then what happens? It is allowed. So now here you need to check less than 18. Any one number you need to take and you need to test. Maybe it will be something like 17 or something like a 16 or something like 13. You can enter any of the number less than a 17. Then you are checking that. So only one test cases we can cover. Right. So now here in age 18, right, greater than 18, then it is going to alert. Maybe you can check more than 18, or you can say 25, or you can say 40, right? So this is the way you need to validate any one number you are going to add. So this is a valid scenario, right? Maybe if the age, greater than, maybe it is allowing to 120. Maybe if it is a 150 or 160, suppose that is the invalid one. Suppose they are giving a input something like, number or something like a special character, something if they are entering. So what will happen? It is going to throw you the invalid. So whether they are going to, so maybe you can think like, who one is going to write something like this? Maybe it happened. So as a tester, we need to check every point of view. We are not sure about it, how the user is going to do that. So if they are entering something different character or different, letters, then what happens? It should not crash the application, right? So that, we have to go with the different scenario, right? So this is the way we need to write a test statement. So I will go with one of the application, maybe. So we'll try to do, I'll open a Facebook. Create a new account. So now here if you see, I hope you know that the age criteria for the sign up into the Facebook. What is the age criteria? Age limit for Facebook. 13-year-old. So if I am trying to add, to 5 years, what will happen? So maybe I'll add a name. I can give a number. So now password. So now I am trying to add a number. So now here it is throwing a error actually. Now I'll go to 21. So again it is throwing the error message. So this is what your your expected result. Expected it should not allow. Right. So now suppose if I go with the 19. 19 also it will not going to allow you. So maybe if I go with the 2004. So now it is going to allow you. Right? Suppose if I make it as a 20, it should throw the error message. It is throwing the error message. This is what I hope you would have can see my screen, Facebook screen, right? So now this is what, how you are going to write a test cases for this. So age less than 13, you have to enter any age less than 13. Then it should throw that error message, something like this. Then this is what our expectation. It should not allow you to, sign up to the Facebook. Right? If it is a age is less than 13. So if it is greater than 13, then it will be not going to throw you any error message. It should allow you to sign up the Facebook. Right? Here also how you'll be going to write a test cases. So maybe you can write a test cases in this way only. So now age less than 13 first scenario. So any of the number you are going to check and it should not allow. This is a valid scenario, right? It should, throw the error message. So now what is that valid one? If it is a 13 age greater than 13. Right, then we can try, age 13 greater than 13, maybe up to 100. Right, to up to 100 you can try. So it will go into any of the number. Maybe here also, if it is allowing, so here we need to select from the drop down, right? So maybe if they are entering the keyword, like, suppose if it is not a drop down, something we need to enter, right? Sometime, you may seen like, we need to enter that date of birth, like, 12 slash or month, we need to date, month and year, we need to make it as we need to enter in the text field, how we are entering the text field, right? Something the same way. So if they are entering that, so maybe we are not sure what they are going to enter. So it should not allow other than that, maybe special character or maybe letters, it should not allow. It should allow only the month, date, month and year only. Other than that, it's not going to. Right, so that is also we need to validate. But here we have a only drop down field. So that what we need to test that age less than 30. You can take any one value. You can take any one value less than 30. Maybe you can make it as a 5 or 6 or any one number you can enter, and it should not allow you. It should going to throw you the error message. Right? It's not allowed. So if it is a greater than age 13 to 100, it should allow. Right? You could able to successfully sign up to the Facebook page. So this is what your equivalent partition. Right? So best coverage, test case coverage we can come up with. Ready? So we are not going to go with the each and every test data. So that is where we are coming into the equivalent partition. Is that clear? Any questions? Same way, we have another approach is that. So what is that another approach? We have a boundary value analysis. So boundary value analysis, we need, so this is also one of the special techniques to writing a test cases. We can make more coverage over here. We can write a more test case coverage over here using this boundary value analysis as well. Right, we use two techniques. One is equivalent partition, one is boundary value analysis. right, to achieve the test case coverage. If it is a more data, we need to pass more data means 100. We need to check 1 to 100, right? So then we can use any of the this technique, equivalent partition, or we can go with the boundary value analysis. Right. So how we are going to go with, suppose the data, suppose if it is accepting 1 to 100, then how we are going to write a test cases for this? So maybe that field is accepting 1 to 100 only. Now how we have to go with the boundary analysis technique? So that means, suppose here we need to think, I'll write first 0, 1, and we can say 2. So now we'll go with 99, 100, 101. So what is this one? So now this is the boundary, and 1 to 100 is the boundary. Now I need to say minimum boundary, this is the maximum boundary. So minimum boundary minus 1, minimum boundary and maximum 1. So this is the minimum boundary. This is minimum boundary is 1 to 100. Minimum is 1, 100 is the maximum boundary. So now here we need to say minimum boundary, that is a 1. So minimum boundary minus 1, that is we are taking a 0. Minimum boundary plus 1, then we are going with the 2. It's not a minus 2, it is a 2. Okay, now we can take this. So this is minimum boundary. Minimum boundary minus 1 is a 0. We need to enter a 0 and we need to validate. Then minimum boundary we need to check. Then we need to go with the minimum plus 1, that is a 2 also we need to check. The same way, if you come over here, this is a maximum boundary. So maximum boundary minus 1. Minus 1 will be 99. Then maximum boundary plus 1. This 101. So now here how many test cases we can cover? How many test cases? So the field is accepting only 1 to 100. Do you go with the test case, rated test cases for each and every number? So here if you see minimum, this is the minimum, this is the maximum. Exactly 6 test cases. Right. So now we have to verify with the 0, we have to verify with the 1, verify with the 2. So now this 0, right? This is the invalid scenario, invalid data. So invalid data is 0. 1 is a valid data, 2 also valid data. Right? Here 99, 100 is a valid data. 101 is a invalid data. So now here we are giving a 2 data, that is a invalid. Then 1 and 2, 99 and 100, this is a valid scenario. So now here if you go with the boundary value analysis, why we are using a boundary value analysis? Because we can write a exact test coverage, so that other than that if I am getting an error over here, let's suppose if I am getting an error, always it is going to error for everything. So we can consider in this way. So that is the reason we are saying boundary, minimum boundary, and we are taking a maximum boundary as well. So minimum boundary minus 1, minimum boundary plus 1, maximum boundary minus 1 and plus 1. So maybe if you face the interview question also, you need to say this way only. So boundary value analysis means just we can make it as a test coverage. So if suppose you can say, suppose if the field is accepting 1 to 100, I need to take a minimum boundary minus 1, minimum boundary plus 1. The same way I need to go with the maximum boundary minus 1 and plus 1. So wherever if you are, you can make it as a more test coverage, you can go with any one of these. Equivalent partition you can take, boundary value analysis you can take. So we are partitioning that, equivalent partition means we are partitioning everything. Here, in boundary value means we are partitioning everything, and after that we are taking a boundary values. So that's what, the difference over here. Here we are partition everything, 1 to 100 we are partition, and we are taking in between one data and validating. But here we are checking that, after, partitioning, just we are making as a boundaries as well. From the partition, we are taking a boundaries. That's what a difference over here in the equivalent partition and, boundary value analysis. Right, these two techniques very, very important. Even if you go to that interview, maybe you may face this question. Any questions? Is that clear?
Ma'am, should we use both techniques to write the test cases?
1
Or
second.
any one of them?